had him earlier in a pocket.
Please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Please.
Thank you, sir.
So, Pawan, where are you right now coming from?
So, I am coming from Mumbai, sir.
When did you reach Delhi?
Sir, I reached Delhi yesterday, sir.
Yesterday. Okay. Where are you staying?
Sir, I am staying in a guest house, sir. I am working in income tax department, sir, so I am staying in the guest house.
Okay. So, now you have an impressive record. You got academic excellence and all that. And you are reading about international relations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the latest about Gaza?
So still, unfortunately, the war between Israel and Hamas is going on in the Gaza, which is leading to a lot of humanitarian losses, especially at the civilian level. And so there have been attempts to ceasefire, and in between there was a ceasefire for 1 or 2 weeks, but still, sir, there has been no progress. Like the ceasefire is again broken and war is going on.
Was there a Security Council resolution recently?
Yes, sir. There was a resolution, sir, but the resolution was only for providing aid. They could not agree for the ceasefire because US has vetoed any attempt for ceasefire.
Today's newspapers, how many have you read?
Sir, I have read one, sir, Times of India.
Okay. Would you like to list for us 4 important news items?
So, like from if I have to start from international relations, sir, then first will be, sir, that Imran Khan's nomination for fighting the election of 2024 has been denied by the Election Commission of Pakistan.
No. From how many constituencies is he standing?
Sir, he was planning to stand from 2 constituencies, sir.
Only 2?
Yes, sir. Like from the today's newspaper, it was 2. Earlier, he was planning to fight from all the provinces, but now it was mentioned 2, sir, one from Lahore and one from Mainwala, his home constituency. But
okay.
both of us.
All right, that's one item.
Yes,
The other?
Sir, second is Israel-Hamas war is still going on, sir. Third, sir, is the inauguration of a railway station and airport at Ayodhya done by Honorable Prime Minister yesterday. So that was also one of the prominent news item. Fourth, sir, again Argentina's president, the newly elected president, has backed off from Argentina joining the BRICS because this year 6 countries had joined BRICS and now he has put hold on it.
Okay, what else has been up to?
The newly elected president of Argentina, sir, he's a self-declared anarcho-capitalist and he doesn't believe in the concept of government. So he has, like as per his campaign promise, he has slashed the government by half. So he has removed Ministry of Education, Health and many other prominent ministries from his government in Argentina.
And how are the people taking to it?
Sir, everybody is in a little shock, but given that, sir, he got elected in the first place, so he never had shied away from what he had already committed.
No, but have there been demonstrations?
So this I am not sure about,
Okay.
sir.
Please.
So Pawan, you are in the income tax, huh? Very
Yes,
good. And you are enjoying your work?
Yes,
when did
ma'am.
you join?
Ma'am, I joined in December 2020.
Okay, so you are a well dyed-in-the-wool bureaucrat already. Okay, what is the difference between buoyancy and elasticity? Which is more important?
Ma'am, difference between buoyancy and elasticity is, ma'am, if I take example of tax buoyancy, for example.
Yeah, I'm talking tax buoyancy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So that is basically how much your tax is increasing vis-a-vis increase in GDP. And the other is elasticity, ma'am, that with increase in income, how much is your tax collection increasing?
So which is more important?
Ma'am, I'll say elasticity, I'll say, is much more important, ma'am, more than buoyancy, what I feel, because since it is a direct function of income of people, and when we are talking about tax or direct tax, we are directly, it is dealing with the income of either people.
In all
or
situations,
corporates.
elasticity would be more important than buoyancy?
Ma'am, not all situations, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So you're familiar with our budget, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you just walk us once quickly through the receipts and expenditures, the figures? Do you know them?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us revenue and capital, receipts and expenditures.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, around revenue expenditure accounts for around 78%.
What is the figure?
Ma'am, 78%.
Figure in lakh crores.
Ma'am, that total figure I'm not able to recall right now.
All right.
And capital expenditure was 22.2% this year, ma'am. And as far as capital receipts are concerned, ma'am, the maximum came from direct tax, around 30%, followed by indirect taxes 28%, and the rest were, ma'am, from non-tax revenue and other receipts and loan.
And which is the largest sector for allocation?
Largest sector for allocation of expenditure, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, the largest sector for allocation is interests, ma'am.
No, the allocation sector-wise means like industry, agriculture, etc., which has received the largest share of the budget.
Ma'am, manufacturing. In the sense, because ma'am, this year capital expenditure has been very high. So, ideally infrastructure, ma'am, if I can say in that terms, that infrastructure has received the maximum receipt.
In terms of ministries?
In terms of industries, ma'am.
Ministry.
Ma'am, that I am not sure, but ma'am, railway ministry I can recall has received substantial amount of budget this year, ma'am.
Defense.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one very interesting feature of Indian taxation is that personal income tax in certain cases is higher than corporate income tax. What is the moral or equity justification for this?
Ma'am, this has been done so as to improve the ease of doing business. So, ma'am, recently the corporate tax was slashed.
Ease of doing business has nothing to do with the quantum of tax. Ease of doing business would be more the process of it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How seamless it is, how less corruption there is, etc.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, they have slashed the corporate tax with the view that whatever money these corporates are saving, they'll again reinvest them in the economy.
Is that happening?
Ma'am, this is not happening up to the mark, ma'am, what government has expected.
So, do you think there should be a mid-course correction of that? Can you recall the budget in which it was announced, the trajectory also of decrease was announced? Can you recall that?
Ma'am, I think so it was in budget 2021 if I am not wrong, ma'am, somewhere.
You are wrong. Okay. Now, on international affairs, I'll be a little specific. Everybody is talking about the Houthis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, do Indian ships have anything to fear when they are crossing the Red Sea?
Ma'am, earlier we thought that they didn't have anything to fear, but recently there has been 2 attacks, ma'am.
Why?
Because, ma'am, we had good relations with both Arab nations as well as
What
Israel.
is the avowed policy of the Houthis? Which are the ships that will be attacked? Which are the ships that will be spared? They have a policy.
Yes, ma'am. Initially, the ships which were going to Israel or were owned by Israeli companies
or
backed by their Western allies, they were being targeted. But now even Indian ships, 2 merchant ships, have also been targeted by the Houthis, and that is why now India also needs to remain.
Okay. Last question. I'll give you a case study. You have to respond. You would like a Gadchiroli case study or a Latur case study? Which would you like? You belong to Maharashtra, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Which one would you prefer?
Ma'am, anyone like.
Okay. So, I'll give you Latur, I'll be kind. There's been an earthquake and you are the district magistrate there. In order of sequence, what is the first thing you will do? Tell me the 4 things you will do in order of sequence.
Ma'am, first will be protecting lives of people. So, this will involve contacting with NDRF and SDRF and trying to recover as many people if anybody is trapped in the.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Second would be contacting all the hospital and making sure that doctors, hospitals and all the medicines and emergency requirements are available. Third, ma'am, I will also be at the same time through public announcement telling people to be ready for the aftershocks, because if earthquake has happened, then aftershocks also follow an earthquake. This will be my third priority. And fourth priority, ma'am, be to ensuring that any gas pipe leakage or electricity snap has not happened, because this can lead to further disasters, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Pawan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Why don't you want to serve in Uttarakhand?
Ma'am, sir, because like my roots are in Uttarakhand, sir, but I have not lived in Uttarakhand per se. So I visit Uttarakhand to meet my grandparents who live over there. So most of the time I've spent in Delhi. So that is why I've chosen Agmot as my first preference.
Okay. So tell me 3 things or 3 schemes that you would like to improve.
So first of all, dealing with infant mortality is something which I would like to focus on.
Name the scheme and tell me what you would like to change.
Sir, Anganwadi Yojana.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And in that, sir, it needs more manpower and also budget allocation so that we can reach to the end moment and last mile, and also improving the institutional deliveries that is happening, because still the figure is around 88%, but even 12% given India's population accounts for a substantial number.
Okay.
Second, sir, will be Jal Se Nal scheme. So like as per Niti Aayog report, by 2030 the demand of water will exceed the supply of water. So in that, sir, I would like to focus more on that scheme. And third would be, sir, Ayushman Bharat, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because, sir, in Ayushman Bharat, already there is a scheme called as Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, in which a digital ID will be provided. So we've already provided cards to the people in substantial number, but its digital component is still lagging. So I would like to focus on that.
Very good. PM Kisan, what can you tell me about it?
Sir, under PM Kisan, all the farmers are getting 6,000 rupees per annum as a direct support. And sir, recently we have under PM Vikas Sankalp Yatra, we have also added 34 lakh more beneficiaries to this scheme.
There are some other schemes in the states which are better than this particular scheme.
So like Raitu Bandhu Yojana of Telangana government, so they provide 12,000 rupees per acre. So in PM Kisan there is a cap of 6,000 rupees irrespective of your land holding, whereas in Raitu Bandhu the amount of subsidy or a direct benefit you are getting is as per the acre.
Is this 6,000 enough?
Sir, what I feel is that state government can top it off on above whatever center is providing, so that farmers get better support, and especially the small farmers, sir.
Should we introduce taxation in agriculture as well, especially farmers who have a land size holding beyond a particular point or whose income is high?
Yes, sir. I feel that blanket exemption to agriculture should not be given, though it is a politically very sensitive issue. And if we are, and sir, but I think so we should still do it, because blanket exemption is leading to a lot of money laundering and tax evasion. And in fact, sir, last year only there was a parliamentary committee report had come, which had also suggested of doing away with blanket agricultural exemption.
Okay, let's move to something else. Should India talk to Pakistan?
Sir, I feel that we should talk to Pakistan, because not talking will not help us, but at the same time, sir, we should also make sure that terrorism and like talks cannot go together. So we can always have back channel talks through our embassy and diplomats, but if they want talks to happen at a higher level, at prime ministerial level, then they should also show some commitment of being serious.
How do you know that these talks are already not happening? You said back channel talks.
Yes, sir. So back channel talks, they might be happening, sir. I am not aware of it, because if they want talks to happen in public, then we should have, sir, some condition to it, that they should also show some seriousness about improving the relations with India. But back channel talk should go on, sir, so that some level of stability between both the countries remain.
My final question, who is India's best friend?
Sir, I think so we ourselves are a best friend, because in diplomacy, sir, there are no friends or enemies. So all the countries, whoever will help us, will only help us if their interests converge with our interest. So we need to focus on becoming Atmanirbhar and strong ourselves, and then only, sir, other countries also try to become friend with us in a way too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Pawan, you are already in the income tax. So tell me, there's this repo rate business. Explain to me as a layman, what is this repo rate and why do we keep on, raising it and lowering it?
So repo rate is the rate at which RBI gives loans to the other banks. And sir, repo rate, basically we try to change repo rate in order to control the liquidity in the market or in the economy, and it also leads to, sir, increase or decrease in inflation. So
last year, the RBI was trying to raise the repo rate all the time to control inflation.
Yes, sir.
But at the exact same time when the RBI raised it very high, the finance ministry gave out a new income tax policy with a higher income tax exemption slab.
Yes, sir.
Giving 2 lakh rupees to each taxpayer, lowest of the taxpayer slabs.
Yes.
Okay. So that let out, on the one hand, you are trying to draw in liquid from the economy, currency, cash from the economy. On the other hand, in the in income tax, this thing, you are certainly giving 2 lakhs to the public. So is it a case of the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing, or there's no communication between the government, or what is it about? What is the discrepancy? Why this?
So what I feel is that mainly when we talk about repo rate and inflation, then it is the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid which gets affected the most, sir.
No.
So, sir, because of it, sir, so because of it, sir, that it happens that that is why they were trying to increase the repo rate so that the inflation doesn't hit the poorest of poor. And whereas, sir, income tax was increased.
Income tax is also you're giving money to the poorest of the taxpayers. You are raising the slab and you're giving money to the poorest taxpayers. So on one side, you are not allowing the poorest to take loans to buy things. On the other hand, you are giving a lot of money to them to buy things. So what is this? I mean, same time you're doing this thing.
Yes, sir. So, but the thing is that the tax slab, if you see about how many people actually file their income above 7 lakhs or 5 lakhs, is just 1% of the country, sir.
No, that's not the case. Think about it. See, repo rate, how many times does it change?
So, mainly quarterly, sir.
Frequently. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
you keep on raising it up and down. It's a temporary measure to control inflation. Your income tax slab changes is a permanent measure, a long-term measure. That's why, that's a one-time change. It will carry on for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And this one is a temporary measure which you can change every 2 months. Okay, that's the difference.
Yes, sir.
It's not a question of not knowing, but thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Pawan, you have been in the income tax. Huh?
Yes, sir.
How many years have you spent now?
Sir, 3 years, sir.
3 years. And you have been an electrical engineer,
Yes, sir.
electronics engineer. Now tell me how have you used your engineering experience in income tax? Do you think it's of some relevance to you?
Sir, not directly per se, I will say. But in general, sir, that engineering makes you much more tax savvy, and income tax department has also become, sir, very much tax savvy. Be it faceless assessment or whatever we are doing right now, sir. Everything is being done on computers and through use of software, artificial intelligence and data analytics. So somewhere or the other, sir, like being an engineer, I'm much more comfortable in use of technology. So that has helped me, sir.
Have you heard about the ratings agencies?
Yes, sir.
How many rating agencies are there?
So broadly 3, sir. Standard and Poor, Moody's, Fitch. Fitch, yes.
Yeah. You tell me, what is the role of these rating agencies? Are they skillful enough to do the ratings of a particular country?
Sir, of late there have been lot of backlash, we can say, from the sovereign nations regarding these rating agencies. For example, if we take case of India only, sir. So I think so, sir, 20 years back they had rated us BBB minus, and now we have, like, from 13th largest economy become the 5th largest economy. We have got a forex reserve of more than $600 billion, and still our rating remains the same. So, sir, I think so they focus more on qualitative aspect than quantitative aspect for providing ratings.
So you mean that I think the authorities that be are not focusing on how to address this issue of convincing the rating agency that our rating should be higher than what it is?
Sir, their model, as I've said earlier, sir, that because their methodology, I think so, sir, itself needs some tweaking or changes, and which these rating agencies should be willing to introspect, sir. Like for recently, last year only, one of the rating agencies are also downgraded USA's economy, whereas USA's economy is doing very good this year. So, sir, some change needs to be done, and I think so, sir, because these rating agencies are catering more to the developed economy and how they are structured. So in that, developing countries like India are losing out.
Do you think the rating agencies are credible enough to assess on any particular aspect, whether national or international?
Sir, they have credibility. It is because, sir, if they didn't have the credibility, then governments also would not be discussing these things. And their ratings somewhere or the other do impact the market and the sentiments of the investors. However, sir, there have also been instances of when they rate not only sovereign nations but also companies, where the entity they are rating, they only pay these credit agencies. So that also a very big flaw in how these rating agencies function. So that also needs to be looked at, because this leads to conflict of interest.
Have you heard about FATF?
Yes, sir.
What exactly is FATF and what role does it play?
Sir, FATF is Financial Action Task Force, and it is mandated to look into money laundering as well as terror financing, sir. So, and it works under the ambit of OECD.
How many countries are members of FATF?
Sir, sorry, sir, I am not able to recall it.
Okay. And is India a member of FATF?
Yes, sir. We have got an observer status, or we have.
No, we are a full-fledged member.
Okay, sir.
In fact, that 34th country.
Yes.
Because I was an additional secretary when this happened, so I think I must correct you. But you tell me that does FATF have any role in the country's economy or country's growth?
Yes, sir. Because they have got list of they can blacklist a country or grey list a country. For example, they had put Pakistan into grey list, or they've put North Korea into black list. So, sir, it makes it more difficult for that country to raise finance internationally. And so that also leads to numbing of international investor sentiments and FIIs who would like to invest in your country.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Well, Pawan, the formal part is over.
Okay,
We shall
sir.
call you back very shortly
Okay, sir.
for a feedback.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.